Welcome to Heartspeak Podcast. Heeding the soul's call for fulfillment. Well, hello there, wherever you are in the world. It's good to be back with you. And yes, this year just keeps giving in so many different ways. At the beginning of this year, I spoke about this being a year of endings and beginnings, and we're certainly seeing that. This period of time from September till probably into January, February, is a time where we are seeing many endings, but also the stirrings of new ventures, the new exciting ventures that will come when we have Neptune and Saturn back in Aries, Aries representing adventure, innovation. So you may be feeling this already in your bones, in your soul, in your heart. Sense of maybe a little bit of boredom or restlessness. I'm not sure where I'm going, but I don't think I want to be here anymore, or whatever I've been doing over the last few years. And that restlessness is because we're in this state of almost being in a cosmic gap, as they call it. And I'm going to talk more about that. But it's in this place where there is nothing and everything available to you. I hope that sounds exciting. Now, in this moment of time, we've had a lot of things related to mysteries that really aren't getting solved. We may see things happening in the outer world, but those things that are occurring on other levels are also very heightened at this time. Now, I could be talking about our three-eye atlas, the third interstellar object that has been passing through our solar system really since July and will continue probably till next July. But on October the 3rd, it was closest to Mars. And everybody was hoping they would get pictures of this. But guess what? The US government were actually on close down, so we didn't receive any pictures from NASA. Now, we're assuming NASA took pictures, but we're just not seeing them. But there were other ways of seeing this particular object coming out of China, of Europe, and we still really haven't seen this object from the different telescopes or means by which are out there near Mars that probably were taking pictures. All this being said, it's still a mystery what is happening in the skies because of this particular interstellar object that is moving around our solar system almost in the same way that our planets are moving. And at the same time, we're getting bursts of energy from the sun, and nobody can really explain why, because it's not particularly active, or let's say more active than it's been before. So is Three-Eye Atlas actually activating the sun, or is the sun activating Three-Eye Atlas? And we also have, I think, 6 comets that have suddenly appeared in the solar system skies. Not sure if we can actually see them from Earth, but there's a lot going on that just seems to be creating this mystical awareness of the UFO or the UAP existence, things we cannot explain in our skies. And of course, people want to put it down to something that can be explained or something that's even man-made. But I think the mystery is really the most important part because it causes us to stretch our wings, to stretch our minds and say, what if? What if this is an interstellar object that has come from different planets, different galaxies, different ways in being? And some talk about it being an unmanned object. I'm quite okay with that. But because everything particularly doesn't need someone in it, but let's say this is a streak of cosmic information coming into our solar system and bringing high level of information, data to us at this time. And what if this isn't just a personal relationship you have with this information, but it's also global for humanity, for everything that lives here on the planet, maybe everything that lives within the solar system? But I'm particularly focusing on what it's doing to our frequency of the soul and how it may be impacting our soul's higher self's frequency, saying, Are you really living the life you came here to live? Are you fulfilling your soul's destiny? And this isn't a judgment. It's almost like seeing outside the limitations. And this is certainly being sparked by Neptune and Saturn going back into Pisces. It's saying, let's dissolve those boundaries, that way in which you've looked at your life, and stick your head into a place which hasn't been there before. And you're like, wow, I'm not this one person who's living this life and it's a fated life and then I'll die. What if you are this highly conscious individual, light being, who has chosen an earthly life for the gifts that it brings, certainly the gift of creativity, but that as a soul, you are, of course, much more than you've ever experienced. And this is a time when you're saying, I want to know my soul's purpose. I want to understand why I chose an earth life. So let me just be clear. Our soul has a destiny. Our soul has a purpose, and that purpose is connected to the divine dream that the soul has said, I will express into the environment I'm living in. So the soul is a dream, an idea that is connected to the cosmos, to God, to divine, whatever you want to call it. And our soul has said, I will express that divine idea into the world so that the divine, the Godhead, can know itself. Okay? So that the whole purpose that I've come to understand of our being is to both know ourselves through our expression of our creative ideas, as well as allow the divine, the universe, to know itself. So our purpose is to make sure that we shine our light, our soul's light, into everything we do. And the way I've described this to many times, and many of you, is that we are a beautiful spherical flower with many petals, our soul in the center. And our purpose is to shine our soul's light through as many petals as we can in this lifetime. The challenge has been is that we keep shining our light through the same petal, thinking that that's all we're here to do. But at this time, when I'm saying we're in this cosmic gap, we're being given the chance to see ourselves in a much larger way than we've ever done before. And we're saying, wow, I am not just an expression of this one petal. I have all these other ways I could express myself. So one of your petals may be being responsible, being dutiful, being in service. But as I keep saying to myself and to other people, we've all got PhDs in that. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But I know how good I am at rescuing people, being responsible. But I'm not particularly good at being irresponsible or being responsible for myself. Now, I'm much better than I was 30 years ago. I'm saying just because you can do something, it doesn't mean you should keep doing it. So what can you do really well, but now you're bored doing it? You're restless. You're saying, I don't need to learn about this anymore. This petal I know off the heart by heart. And that's what's happening. And I have to say, you haven't just done this petal in one lifetime. Your soul carries the destiny for many lifetimes until it is fulfilled, until it has fully expressed this divine idea into the world. So you may have had many earth lives being responsible, being dutiful. Hey, you do this really well. But you're not growing from that anymore. Your light is not beaming any more light from the soul than it was maybe 3 or 4 lifetimes ago. So your purpose is not necessary to fulfill your destiny, your soul's destiny, all in one life. It'd be great if you could, but we don't tend to. And you might find that when you choose that this is no longer the place you want to fulfill your soul's destiny, you'll drop this earth suit, as I like to call it, and you'll go off and do something in another planet, another galaxy, another way. So I'm saying is this time In being in a physical body, in an earthly body, is the most gifted way in which your soul can express itself. Being in a physical body, on the physical earth, provides this amazing alchemical vessel for creative expression of the soul. So don't waste the opportunity, if that's what I'm really saying. This is the time to say, what petal do I know so well that I can't learn any more from it? And what petals are waiting for me to actually shine my light through that petal so my soul can experience a fulfillment? So with everything that's going on at this time, we have a lot of opportunities that are happening astrologically that are helping us on this way. So already we're seeing Pluto is now turned direct in Aquarius, and this is why we're seeing so much more activity about how do we work together as a community. Aquarius isn't about polarization. Pisces is about polarization. But Aquarius is about how do we come together? How do we synthesize our gifts and work together for the greater good rather than work against another group? So lots of what we're seeing in the world today is based on Pluto in Aquarius, community. And that word community is common unity. So where in your own common unity, your community, your family, can you find ways that you agree upon, not that you oppose? We all agree upon the fact that we don't want to hurt other people. We all agree that the family is important. We all agree that, we have to help our children to find themselves. I don't know what it is in your family, but find a point of common unity, whether it's within your family, within your school group, your children may be at school, or your grandchildren, or you find a piece of land that you say, let's, bring a garden to this piece of land for the good of the future. That's what this time's about. What can we do to create a better future, to create a healthier future? And we have quite a lot happening around Chiron, which is the wounded healer. So this is a time where we're going to see a lot of healing taking place in places that have badly needed healing for a very long time. And so it really says, well, where am I needing that healing? And what I like to say is that healing, the word actually comes from holos, which means wholeness. So it returns to my beautiful flower and saying, my healing isn't about my physicality healing, maybe even not my emotional healing. It's about where am I not whole as a soul. So where my healing comes from, seeking wholeness, seeking unification with myself, finding my oneness. And that oneness is not a singular point. My oneness comes when I accept all that I am into that one place, which is my heart, my soul. So how do I gather all of me into this one place and find love and acceptance for all that is? And that's what we're doing personally as well as we're doing on a global level, thank goodness. So this is a time, and you've heard me say this before, that wherever you judge others or you have a fear of others or you have a fear of something, it's attracting you towards a part of yourself that needs integration, that is part of your unity, and that you cannot be whole until you acknowledge this part that you keep running away from. So, I'm scared of doing that, or I'm scared of my power, I'm scared of my creativity. Move towards that which you have avoided, because you'll find that actually it's not a big deal to anybody else. It's mainly just the big deal to you. So where are you running away from yourself? We often think, oh, it's going to affect other people. It's going to offend my family. Actually, it's us that are offended. We're the ones that are judging ourselves for this attitude. So as I say, we have a lot of healing taking place, but that healing is about finding community, finding wholeness, bringing everybody together. So Aquarius is not about individual achievements, but it's about everybody achieving the fullness of who they are. So that if I see someone struggling, How do I help them to achieve their wholeness, while also making sure I don't lose myself in helping others, but also achieve that in myself? So the more whole we are in ourselves, the more we can offer that resonance of wholeness to others, like a tuning fork. So it is time to be a little selfish. How do I become whole so that through my wholeness and my acceptance of my wholeness, I can then help others? I can't do it when I'm half empty or even more than half empty. I can never serve others more than the level that I'm also at myself. So if I'm running on low, that's the only level I can bring to other people. So as I say, a lot of healing going on, a lot of community energy coming our way. And as I say, we have these two planets that have been going backwards. So then a lot of the planets have been going backwards. We have Uranus, I'll just say this first, the Uranus in Gemini, and that's part of the boredom. So Uranus is about unexpected activities, revolutionary activities. Gemini, communication, listening, sharing, teaching, contracts. So what we're seeing is a lot of communication happening and new ways of talking when listening to each other. So Uranus in Gemini is all about finding new ways to communicate. It's also part of what's happening with AI. Uranus rules Aquarius, so it's very much about new energy ways of communicating, listening, let's say, to our own intuition, but also a lot of communication that's happening at the moment where we're saying this is advanced in information. And this is, I've mentioned before, we have to just be careful that any information we're receiving that seems to come from a higher level of intelligence, we have to ask ourselves, does this resonate with me? Because nothing is more important than your own inner wisdom, your own inner intelligence. So Uranus in Gemini is the one that's causing us a little bit boredom, but it's also the one that's heightening our intuitive, telepathic communication skills. And so you may be finding yourself so much more sensitive to listening to other people and what they're not saying, the secretiveness of themselves. But you also may find yourself connecting to nature, as I love to do, listening to nature around you, connecting to your pets, connecting to animals. But it's also about unexpected revelations. So we're seeing a lot of information now pouring out of places where that information was kept suppressed. So again, unexpected would be, don't get too surprised. You were like, wow, I didn't know that was happening, because we're going to see a lot more information coming to the surface that has been hidden until now. So just returning to my Neptune Saturn, Saturn is back into Pisces. So again, it's about what really being able to be fundamentally connected to your soul and say that, where is my soul going? Listening inside and not getting caught up with some cult or guru, if I may say, who's saying, follow me. Listen inside. Does this take me anywhere? Is this where I want to go? And as I say, we're seeing many more of that appearing with AI, where AI is now leading people away from themselves. So making sure that whatever information you pick up is really in harmony with you. Stay with the fundamental truth. Is this loving information? Does this make me feel good about myself? And one of the ways that I think I keep hearing is people saying, well, of course, I'm not good enough, or I need to be further along the path, or, I have to do all of these things to be perfect. No, you're already perfect. You're already a highly evolved soul who is just choosing to be here for this expression of its divine self. But it doesn't mean that you're a lesser being. You're just saying, wow, what an opportunity for me to go to Earth and to create. That's all. It's like, yay, giving this chance to be in this great play area. But it's not making you lesser. It's actually saying, all I'm here to do is express myself fully. And in knowing that or doing that, I know myself more fully. The universe also expands. So that's Saturn. Now Neptune's going back into Pisces on the 22nd of October and will stay there till January the 26th of 2026. And this is really that cosmic gap I've been talking about. So this is really saying that this is a time where anything is possible. So really it's a good time to unlock yourself from any matrix or any belief you have that, oh, I have to do it this way. This is a time when your dreams might be so active, or you may just find yourself in a moment where you're like, I don't know who I am, or a disillusion of your reality. It's almost like you're everything and nothing. You don't know, but you know. So Neptune in Pisces is really this unification factor. In this time between October 22nd, January 26th, this is a time to really focus on your intuition, your insights, your dreams, your revelations, write them down, but recognize that everything you thought you were is a small fraction of who you really are. So if an idea comes in, give credence to it. This is a time to sow those seeds, even though I'm saying, things may not flourish to the beginning of the new year, but don't just dismiss them. Grasp them, say, oh, I would like to do that. Maybe do, put a little of energy into nurturing those seeds, because they will come to fruition as long as they're in harmony with the soul. And as you know, one of my favorite sayings is, close all the doors not in harmony with my soul, and open those that are, or keep open those that are. That's what I do every night. And stick to it. So when something doesn't function and you're saying, wow, where have all my clients gone? Or that work is not continuing. Know that your soul has put out that call to say, close the doors if it's not in harmony with my soul. And I would say to you, be impatient. Don't say do it next year. The only reason you're here on earth is to fulfill your soul's destiny. And as I say, that may not happen all in one lifetime, but you don't want to lose the opportunities that you've got at this moment. So don't say, oh, I'll do it next life. No, do it now. Because there is no place to go once you've left here, if I may say it that way. You're already there. So it's only your consciousness that is using this holographic reality that we're living in to create a reality that allows it for the soul to express itself. I hope that makes it clear. There is nothing you have to do. I mean, it's not like I'm saying you should do this or you must do that. It's what gives you that passion we often talk about. Bashar often says, follow your passion, follow what gives you bliss. But it really is, where can I shine my light? And what light is going to shine through which of my petals? In other words, what's exciting you at this time? What do you find a joyfulness about? What lifts your spirits? I'm using different words. So this is this cosmic gap we're in. And as I say, it's going to go from the middle of October, October 22nd to January 26th. It may feel really odd, like, whoa, I don't know who I am. That's good. Chaos is good. Confusion is good. But stay close to your heart. In other words, just know that as long as you're following a loving connection, you're listening to your intuition, you won't go wrong. Now, the last thing is that following, I think, October 23rd, we have many planets are in water signs. We have Jupiter in Cancer, we have Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, and we have the Sun, Mercury, Mars, and Lilith all in Scorpio. Because there's Mars, wherever it is going to intensify that. We've got intense communication, Mercury, happening in very deep places. So you may feel the intense, dense energy even though they've got Jupiter in Cancer, which likes to be a little bit less dense. Know that there's going to be some difficult communications going on, but there's also going to be revelations with that. So it's almost as if all this water is pushing things to the surface. And water has this unique quality of seeking healing, seeking unification. I remember it being described that it's very humble, it always falls to the bottom of a glass. It will take any shape. In other words, you can pour water into any cup and it will take a different shape. But it never gives up its purpose. And that's unification, that fulfillment, that wholeness. And it is the 1 mile deep Grand Canyon that was created by the river pushing through that dense rock until it got to the ocean. Water doesn't give up. It's powerful. So this power of water at this moment may feel very intense, very emotional, very, your feelings may be immersed, but your feelings or emotions are the energy of change. And water is determined to transform and bring us unification with ourselves, fulfillment, wholeness, and with others. Because water wants to combine with others. That one droplet of water wants to get to the ocean where it can be with others. But this otherness is not necessarily here on this planet. It may be you want to meet others who are like you, but your biggest heart yearning is to communicate and be one with all that you are. With all your star beings, your star family, your guides, whatever you want to call them. But that unification now is seeking, I want to connect to everything that I am and to connect to those beings, those light beings who are part of who I am. And you might find them in nature, you may find them in the earth, you might find them in your meditations. But it's your soul's longing to come home, to know its family that is happening at this time. And that isn't about leaving the planet. This is about bringing heaven onto earth. Let me open myself up and bring all this family energy here to earth now. Let me bring all that I am into this beautiful planet so that together we may bring heaven onto earth. So be prepared for some intense times. Be prepared for some really rather confusing times. Be prepared to not know. But if you have those inklings that say, I've always wanted to do that, I just get a sense that I'm doing something that I don't need to do anymore. Follow it. Don't be fearful. It's not, the fear is, I have to say, an illusion. There's a lot of illusion around at the moment. So it can be, oh, I'm so scared of being that. Well, no, that's just your little self not wanting you to leave the safety net of where you've lived for so long. So you can say to your little self, thank you very much, thank you for your guidance, but we're moving. And when you have the courage to say, I love you, but I am going to move, you'll find that 99% of you is ready to make that move. And it's only a 1% little self that is screaming, don't do it. But when you follow your soul, you are enriched by the love, the abundance, the financial abundance that comes your way, because when we follow our soul, we have to be met with the means by which we are going to achieve our fulfilled self. We have to be met by the abundance that will help us to meet our destiny, and by the people, etc. So people will come to you, money will come to you when we know we're following our soul. So I hope this gives you hope. And I really want more than hope. I'm saying, follow your soul, listen to that still small voice, be honest with yourself. Don't get distracted by other people's journeys. It's got nothing to do with you. Stay true to yourself. And when you are true to yourself, then everybody you meet you will be enhancing their ability to be true to themselves. So until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the HeartSpeak podcast with Dr. Christine Page. Please check out all HeartSpeak episodes in the podcast archive section on www.christinepage.com. HeartSpeak is also available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Tumblr, and now playing on Amazon Music and iHeartRadio. You can also watch the archive podcast on Christine's channel, on YouTube, and now on Rumble. Connect with Christine on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook group, The Great Mother Calling. Do share with family, friends, colleagues. Join us next time for another edition of HeartSpeak.